Hi guys, and come with me on my lesson as I take you through the different exercises we worked on. So as you can see, we started out with a very stretchy trot. Tanner has a super long neck and he's just naturally behind the vertical, even though I'm putting my hands forward so much. So we just work on getting him to like reach his nose out to the bit, which is easier said than done. But recently we've really been working on him listening to my aids, especially coming from my knee. I have a really bad habit on using my lower leg and spur too much, and we're just really making sure that he's listening to my smaller cues. That way maybe his reactions aren't as big in the test. So we usually just do forward and back on a circle, making sure that he is rounding onto my outside rein and like moving away from my inside leg, and I'm putting him on my knee. So this exercise was doing a half volte and then basically on a figure 8. On the inside part I would do a medium trot, and I'm really working on, like I said, the forward and back at the trot. He's really dulled my aids, and we've just really been working on this, especially ahead of nationals. So we did that a couple of times because I was just not getting some of the aids that my trainer was trying to explain to me. But after a while I was finally getting it, and he was really bringing his chest up, especially in the medium trot. I'm also working on my hip mobility, and so I was so sore after this. Next, we moved on to just like a warm-up canter, and like I said, I'm really working on putting my hands forward. I have a super tall torso. For some reason, I just have a hard time putting my hands forward, probably because of my saddle seat background, but just doing a warm-up canter here, making sure all of his legs feel good and he's moving out, reaching forward to that bit. And he felt really good. He has such a fun, comfy canter. I wish his trot felt the same way. But of course, like, it was so hot, I had to take a water break multiple times. So now, same thing here. We're just doing a circle at the canter, making sure that he is listening to my aids, my inside knee, my outside rein, and we're really working on forward and back on a circle. And this is specifically to work on our canter pirouettes. I got a comment in our last show that I was too collected for too long before the canter pirouettes, and so we're working on moving him out and him listening to like how much I scoop my seat, and then that way I can get that really collected canter in the pirouette and not have him be too collected, per that last judge's comment, which it was a weird comment, but it does have a point, and so we are going to work on it ahead of our next show, which is next weekend. But he felt really, really good in the canter. Like I said, I could literally sit in his canter for hours because it is so comfy. And then next we are working on our canter pirouettes, and you can see I'm really pushing him into this. And my trainer is also a hunter jumper trainer, so she wanted me to do sort of like a working pirouette around the jump to make sure he was bending. And what I was not getting here was she wanted me to do a step to the side and then a step forward, and Tanner just gets super tight, so it was kind of hard for me. So we did not have our best day of canter pirouettes, but the smaller goals were still there, moving him in and out of that collected canter before and after the pirouette. And actually this is a pretty good pirouette. He just kind of loses impulsion for like half a step, but I was super happy with it, and I think he was too. But we just do this over and over again, basically. So here I'm really trying to push him forward so I can bring him back, and I think he kind of spins his booty around with this. But we're working on the bend in the pirouette especially, and actually it looks pretty good. He did the same exact thing with losing impulsion for like a half a step. So now we're going to do the exact same exercises the other way. So we're going to do a canter pirouette right, working around this jump as a physical barrier. I was kind of getting the exercise better this direction with pirouette step to the side and then forward, but he just wants to spin around so fast. But basically we were doing a canter pirouette around the jump and then a half or a full pirouette afterwards to get that same feeling. And besides losing the impulsion, he was actually pretty good here, and we are going to do it again. Like I said, practice makes perfect, or like my username, practice makes Piaf. But here I felt like I was really getting like the working pirouette better with moving to the side, moving forward, moving to the side, moving forward. And I was really happy with it. My trainer was too. She actually didn't make me do a full pirouette after. She just said walk and reward him. But now we are going to do kind of like a segment together of pirouettes. So I did half a pirouette to the right and then switch. And then I'm going to do a half pirouette to the left. And Tanner freaking loves his like 110s. He gets so excited. But we were just trying to string it all together and make sure he was paying attention to my A's. You can see he was not. He wanted to do a lot of tempi changes. But he just gets stuck when he does this. So my trainer was like, push him forward. Make sure he's moving forward, moving off your leg. So I just circled around, and she's going to have me do a pirouette here in a second to make sure I get that last pirouette and making sure he doesn't like fake his way out of it. It was not by any means a perfect pirouette. He was still kind of hoppy, but at least he didn't get to be rewarded for, you know, doing what he wasn't asked to do. And you can see he's kind of cranking on the bit there. But that was basically our lesson. I just cooled him out for about 10 minutes and then hopped off, and I was really happy with our progress. And granted, not all of our lessons in the FEI work are going to be, you know, super fun, amazing stuff. Honestly, this year we have gone so much more back to basics, and it's been so helpful for me. But I thank you guys if you've watched almost 7 minutes of this. I know a lot of people like to see what I do in my lessons, and vice versa. I like to see what other people do. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comment below, and thanks for coming along to my lesson.